Cool. Welcome. We're going to like is it like a black tie event?
Yeah, black tie dinner.
A black tie dinner after this. Because it's our anniversary on Tuesday, so we thought we'll go out on Saturday. That's why we're dressed like this. All right, this is not me on a normal Saturday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Do you know what I mean?
But
Could be, but it's not. I'm hot. Um,
you are.
how's everyone doing? We all good, yeah? Is everyone like, what's this call gonna be about? What is all this? Is everyone looking forward to it? Got some champagne, second bottle. No, I'm joking. Um, so yeah, so obviously we did a podcast and we kind of explained why we're doing what we're doing. It's kind of like personal reasons, to be honest. We've been on this journey for like myself, of growth like for like a decade. I never really had not on the diet plan. I never really had any like guidance or happy endings in my life. I come from a broken home, so I never really saw what a successful relationship could be like. Went through my fair share of relationships and just got to a point where I'm like, do you know what? I just need to focus on me moving forward. And obviously that's when I met Charlie. And obviously we've been on this journey together now for like 8 years. And we saw a lot of people give up on their goals and dreams or not go after their goals and dreams as aggressively as they could be. Um, and you all know that success is 100. You're either 100 or a zero. There's no 99. 99% doesn't cut it with success, you see, because you have to actually become it. The moth has to actually go into the flame and you have to become actually your goal essentially. So you can't you can't, you know what I'm saying? You don't see any half moths flying around. Do you know what I'm saying? Or like caterpillar with like a one wing. It's like half a butterfly. It doesn't work like that. Um, you,
It
you
won't fly.
you have to go all in, and we see a lot of people they hold themselves back because, and it's not that the other person's negative or anything like that. I think what the gap is, people don't know how to communicate correctly, what to say, what's acceptable. When we've just saw it so many times where we're like, why don't we just step in and just start talk about what we've become aware of? Okay, it's not about us knowing it all. We don't claim to be experts, but we are definitely aware of some things that people need to become aware of. And we're excited about the journey that we're on, to be honest. And we're kind of putting this out there to sort of like just to help whoever wants to listen, because again, we're always like into like education and we kind of always YouTubing like different podcasts. And every time we type in like a couple's podcast, we never really find anything. Layla Hormozi, Alex Hormozi, Erling Bugs, Holton Bugs. But there isn't many people like, especially in the UK, that are really talking about these subjects. And I think with the whole feminist movement and a lot of men don't know how to be men, I think it's a super, super important subject. I'm very passionate about it. I know Charlie is. But yeah, man, we called it Roots and Wings, but I've done too much talking so far. So Charlie, why don't you talk about like why you're excited about this?
Hi, everyone. So I think the really interesting thing with us as well is that our backgrounds are so totally different. So if you don't know, obviously Jake just explained his. I actually grew up with an example of a very successful marriage. My parents were married for okay, so on a podcast the other day I said 30 to 40 years. I realized that's a 10-year gap, so I need to actually ask my mum what the years were, but basically it's a long time, and they would have been married longer, but obviously my dad passed away a few years ago. So that was the example that I grew up with, and what I then always desired growing up myself. Now, obviously, sometimes you might have to go through a few different experiences to actually figure out one, what you really want specifically, and two, to actually find it. So, very similar situation to Jake in that we actually both got to a point where we're like, do you know what? We're done with this dating thing. We can't be asked with it. I'm sure some of you have been there as well. And we're just going to do what we want to do. We've got these goals that we want to achieve. We want to set up our own business. We want to travel, whatever it was at the time. And we're just going to ignore anyone that comes our way. So I ended up, for those of you that don't know, on actually a property investing course. That was the route that I was going to go down, there, like first and foremost. And actually, that was when then a very charming gentleman stood up and shared his story about his experience, why he was there. And I turned around and went, oh no, he's fit. So, but I actually really related to his story and why he was there and why he was there and what the reasons why he was doing what he was doing.
More importantly.
So in the break, we all went out for coffee and he happened to be sat by himself. And I was like, okay. So I took this as my sign to go over and speak to him. But I went and got my cup of tea, went to walk back inside, and I almost had like a little voice to say, like, no, like get out of your own head and go and say hello. So that's literally what I did. I didn't think about anything else. Literally stood in front of him and said hello and didn't know what was going to happen after that.
And on that note, I do want to sorry to put in. Back in the day, this actually used to be how it worked. So a woman, for example, would have a handkerchief and she would spot a guy that she was attracted to and she'd walk in front of that guy and drop the handkerchief. And if he was a gentleman, obviously, he'd pick it up and say, excuse me. And then that's how the conversation would start. So it's like that as well. Like a lot of, and the reason why I share that is because, again, society and the whole feminist movement is down to like, no, the man should do this, the man should do that. Whereas really, actually, that's actually how it used to be. But go on.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously here we are, 8 years later, 4 years married, and we like Jake shared, we're on this journey with you guys as well. We're learning as we go. Of course, that's what marriage is like. But I think one of the biggest things that we've learned is and realized from a lot of people is there's so much build up in the dating phase. Like you date, you find the right person, and then there's so much build up into the wedding and getting married. But then there's nothing afterwards. Like there's no advice on what to do once you're married.
Ball and chain. You fucked it now.
It's all negative.
Your sex life is over.
Especially when you have kids. You know, when you have kids, that's it. Yeah, no more no more sex like forever. So we've realized actually there's a big gap there. And the other day we just wanted to we've obviously been talking more about a relationship and where we want to go. And that's something that is an ongoing thing forever. So because you're going to be changing. So who you are when you first got together is going to be a totally different person to who you are 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, another 20 years, 40, however long you're going to be married. So Jake touched on the whole communication aspect, but it's an ongoing thing for the rest of your life because you're going to change throughout the rest of your life. So one of the biggest things that I'm a big advocate on is knowing what you really want first. So what you want in a partner, but also what you need, almost like what's your love language kind of thing, to know actually what you're then looking for. But even that is going to change over time. So that's where the update conversation needs
and
to happen.
Yeah, I mean, these podcasts and these what we're doing is it's for single people as well. It's just important. It's just as important for single people.
Probably even more.
Yeah, so. Because like I started to study leadership before I had any team in my organization and anyone was following me. I was studying because that's where I wanted to go, right? So if you have a goal of having a successful relationship, it makes sense. We say it in business, go to people that have the results that you want, do what they do. So it makes sense to go to people that have the results that you want in relationships. And we've done that every time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my first mentor, as you guys know, Linda and Bob Proctor, those are an elderly couple, been married for decades and decades and decades, successful, high value. Then Holton and Erling Bugs, again, decades and decades and decades of marriage and success in business, and they're both physically great, in great shape. Both of those examples. So we've had quite of an older mentorship and an example to look up to, and like I said, Charlie's parents were a massive inspiration as well. But so obviously it's called Roots and Wings. That whole thing is like, you can be rooted together, but you haven't got to clip each other's wings. Remember your roots, but, still go ahead and make sure that you become successful because that's what we want to do. These webinars are not going to be often, just being super honest, maybe once every 90 days, because our main content's going to come from like our YouTube content, and we're going to start putting more reels out there and stuff as well. But we are thinking about doing something in November. Well, we are going to do something in November, which I'll announce at the very end. But what we want to do is we want to go through just a few things that basically the role of the man and the role of the woman. Remember, if you are single, you have to understand what your future partner desires, what they want, because it's like you have a role to play. You understand that? And it's so like related to business as well. It's crazy. It's the same thing in life. We attract who we are, not what we want. But you do need to understand, if you are looking to attract a certain person in your life, they need certain things to want to be around you for an extended period of time, right? So we've got these things where like we've got the role of the man, what we basically what how does a husband, because men and women want different things. Who's with me? Say yes in the chat if you understand that we want different things, right? Some of you are like, really? Yeah. So a man wants respect, right? And a woman wants love. So, first of all, what is respect? What is that? Right? Maybe go and actually Google the word respect. What does it mean? What does the word love mean? Right? Then it's like, how does a man feel respected? So if you are a man aligned, when was the last time you felt respected? When was the last time you felt powerful? When was the last time you felt like a king? And then as a woman, when was the last time you felt loved? Right? What do you want? What makes you feel loved? Right? So we're going to go through a few things. And by the way, these are PDFs, so we can send. Maybe Bonnie, could you take a screenshot of everyone on this call? We can maybe create like a group chat or something where we can like post information and updates and stuff just for people that are like tuning in. That'd be great. Do you want to go first? Ladies first. Let's go ladies first.
So my questions are, how does a wife show respect to her husband? Now, we were talking about this earlier, and obviously we've had numerous conversations about this, but I think the number one thing is, how does your husband actually want to be respected? So if you're in a relationship right now, like I could physically ask my husband, how do you actually want to be respected? Because there are loads of different things, obviously, of how you could feel respected, but unless you actually ask the actual person, there may be one thing that would top all of that. Or it may be one thing that actually maybe you've definitely go and do your own research for sure, but there may be one thing that doesn't even come up on that, which is actually his number one thing. So that's really important. You've got to keep that window open.
Should we do one each? Should like you do one, I'll do one, you do one.
What, on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Let's do
What
it.
to go through this?
Yeah.
So, and there's different topics. So the first topic is conquest, meaning, am I always standing behind him and letting him know I support him in his work and endeavors in his field? Do you want to go through the questions or do you want to talk about it?
So talk about like, what does that mean?
So am I always standing behind him, as in whatever his goal is, whatever he wants to achieve, am I actually there for him? Am I actually supporting him? Am I actually listening to what he actually wants to achieve? Because I think a lot of women don't think that they actually need to sit and listen. Like if your husband comes home from work and wants to talk to you about their day, don't pot around the kitchen and do stuff. Like actually look him in the eyes and listen to what he's actually saying, because the fact that you're there having a full conversation with him is really important to him.
Also, are you aware that men don't talk? Is everyone aware of that? Yeah. So, and that the reason is because of ego and in pride and fear of rejection and fear of looking weird and sounding weird. So sometimes I just go to Charlie. It happened quite recently, and I'm like, I just needed to like just brain dump what was going on in my mind, because she's very good at like, okay, let's organize this information. What's going on right now? Do you know what I mean? So like, but I was kind of holding. I'm still guilty of this today. That's what I was thinking. Like, we should communicate a lot earlier, men do, because men should. We should communicate a lot earlier. And again, the wife should be willing and actually it's not a chore for her.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Because that's a big thing about respect as well. It has to feel like the men have to like the woman should like want to hear what's going on inside the man's head. Do you know what I mean? So that's a big part. Well,
Hmm. You want to do that? So?
I
Oh, right, got you.
yeah. So now the first thing on the man's list is how does a husband, sorry, spell love to his wife? So the first thing is closeness. Am I always remembering to move toward her and accept her need to talk and connect with me to be reassured of my love? So am I always remembering to move towards her and accept her need to talk and connect with me to be reassured by my love? And another thing, like, again for men, because that's this is completely against our natural tendencies. Like men were like, England kick off in 5 hours. Like the sun's out. You know what I mean? Let's watch the highlights from last night's football. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how much money we made today. Whereas like I think the biggest paradigm shift that needs to happen is that you actually have to like want your woman to be happy. So it goes from like getting, what am I getting out of this relationship to like, what am I giving to this relationship? Do you know what I mean? So it does have to be like a bit of a paradigm shift. Um, but yeah, like, I mean, am I always, would you say I'm good at that?
Hmm. Absolutely.
To be reassured of my love, to basically let her know that I love her, not just from words, from actually like actions. Let me just take like pillow talk, for example. That's a
Hmm.
big one. Like we went for a period of time where we stopped doing pillow talk because it was convenient for me to sleep with Dexter. You understand that with kids, right? So we went for a massive period of time, and it was almost like, the analogy of when the ship's 1 degree off. You don't really notice it every day, but over time, I think about 6 months went by, and we we kind of like lost touch with what was going on in each other's lives. It's mad how like little tiny conversations on the
Hmm.
pillow at night every day compound. I mean, you're
Hmm.
not having them. It also compounds.
Hmm.
It's just little things like that we've learned through pain, actually, don't we?
Hmm.
Through pain.
But it might not be pillow talk. It's finding your time. It could be when
Yeah.
you're having your morning coffee or like just find out whatever your time is. But that time is very important. And also it's understanding, I think for the men to understand that, and this may go into it later, that as women, we like to just talk
Yeah, yeah. So
to offload rather than for a problem to be solved. So we share, and within the sharing, it's like, oh, you've solved my problem just because you let me talk. Whereas men often go to a solution orientation so that we're sharing something and you're like, okay, how can I fix it? And we're like, no, you fixed it. Cool. I'm good. I'm going to go. And he sat there like, okay, how can I fix it? He's still sat there thinking,
basically, they want us to ride the wave with them, not be the dam. Men they just want to be the dam. Just stop that flow. Women want us to ride the wave with them, get in the boat with them. It's like whitewater rafting. And then what we do is, men, you can get in the boat with them and you can start to steer it, but you have to meet them where they're at and listen. Do you know what I mean? Go on, still live to. It's a good example, actually.
So the next one is about hierarchy. Do I let him know I respect and appreciate his desire to protect and provide for me and the family? What have I said recently to communicate this? So it could be that whether he's the breadwinner or not, he still goes out to provide and protect for his family. That is a man's number one aim and desire. Ultimately, think about it this way. If someone broke into your house, who are you going to send to go and see if there's a burglar there? He's going to go. So his number one thing is, I'm there to provide and protect for you. That's in within him, and that's what we need to understand. But then it's also providing the respect there, and you could even physically say to him, I respect you so much. So the fact that actually you would, if push came to shove, stand in front of me and take the bullet for me. Or I respect that you are looking after us and there for me and the kids, and you're the one that goes out there and thinks of all these business ideas and earns the money for us, or
And that's what I say as well. Like, that's
whatever it
great,
is.
but the guy has to be actually doing his best as well. So don't be like, oh, well, point number two says that you should. So, yeah, babe, like, but you know, you're 3 points down and it's 5 o'clock. Do you get what I'm saying? So you do have to qualify as well, I believe, anyway, as a man. Don't be all like entitled to ask for things if you're not out there busting your ass, doing your best. It's not even about results, it's about effort, to be honest. Like, are you actually doing your best? That's all that matters, to be honest.
So let me maybe veto this by, all we're talking about here is
Veto. So, huh?
the little, the little like sub notes you get at the bottom of the page, or the little disclaimers.
Okay.
That we are talking about a good willing man and a good willing woman, i.e., they have your best interests at heart. They want to be the best for you, not someone that's.
Oh, yeah, for an
only
arsehole,
for
this
you.
doesn't
Yeah.
work for you. You should jump off the call. Do you know what I mean? You got no hope. Doesn't work for wankers.
Censored. Go on, you.
Next one is this. Do I share my thoughts with her and am I sure not so hang on a minute. Do I share my thoughts with her and am I sure I am not resisting her efforts to draw me out? So again, that's just the same thing, really. Again, it's all openness. It's about being open with how you feel with how you're feeling about everything. And if you're not happy about something, share it. And if you are happy about something, don't share. Like share it still. I've had moments where I'm like, can I bring that up again? Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry, but I know we've talked about it, but that's still on my mind. I'm still concerned about X, Y, Z. I'm still worrying about da 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 da. And because you know why this is hard for men? Because our job is to provide and protect. We don't necessarily want to share our worries and doubts and concerns with the person we're supposed to be protecting and providing for, because we're scared that it's going to dent their confidence in us to lead them. We have a fear of, because to love is to risk not being loved in return. You get that? So this is why people hold themselves back, because it's risky. To fully give yourself to someone is very, very risky. So like that's what a lot of people fear. So like, but you have to be, and that's why there's levels to this whole conversation. Everyone on this call is at different levels of love, different levels of awareness around this subject, different level of conscious. That's why we got a lot of questions, but we thought we'd get more. Do you know why? People don't even know what to ask about this subject, because it's not even a subject. We're actually making a subject out of thin air. It's not taught in schools. Your mom and dad don't sit down and talk to you about this sort of stuff. Mine did anyway. My dad was like, yo, Jake, you're a good looking lad. There's going to be women that want to trap you. Wear condoms. That was my sex education, guys. Do you know what I mean? And it was, Jake, you need to stop going out so much. You need to watch some porn. Like, that's literally what my dad told me. Those are the two seminars my dad gave me on sex education. Do you get what I'm saying? But you've come from a very similar situation. Like, Charlie had zero conversations with her parents about sex.
Mm-hmm.
Zero.
The only conversations I have was with my mum about what happens when a girl hits puberty.
So how else are we supposed to know this stuff? And you know what we do? That's normal. Well, she don't know about it. He don't know about it. He don't. So we're all ahead just like figuring it out. Well, if you figure it out, like the hope is a terrible business strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you can actually, like, do you know, correct me if I'm wrong, in every book on success, it says the most important decision a person can make is their choice of partner. But yet there's no resources on how to make that decision work continuously that we've found. Do you get that? It's mad, isn't it? Especially in the UK, we're going to keep it real. Because Americans, you know what Americans are like. They would have paused this already. I said shit. I said wankers. You know what I mean? It's game over, isn't it?
Well, what I was just going to say on that though was that actually, from a woman's perspective, a man to be vulnerable, one shows that he fully trusts you, and two, we actually find really hot because they're not really going to do that with anybody else. So it's actually a turn on for a woman when a man is vulnerable from I'm 100% honest and truthful with you.
Hmm. If the woman knows what she wants. Do you understand that? Because if the woman's hanging around a bunch of slags, that's not going to be attractive to her. And that's also something you need to be careful of as well. If your goal is to have a successful relationship, who are you around? It's so mad. It's why I love the basis of success so much because I was the guy that would go to single people for relationship advice. I've been that guy. Mom, dad, listen. Oh shit, you're divorced. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, most of my pals, people at work. Dave hates his wife. I'm there asking him questions about. So like, it's super important to be aware of that. But you also you need to know what you want. But yeah, got what's number three?
Authority. Have I gone on record? Have I gone on record? As in, have you actually spoken to him about it? That because he is the primary responsibility for me, even to die for me, like we spoke about someone coming into your house or stand in front of a bullet, I recognize him as having the primary authority. Do I let him be the leader? How have I helped in that regard recently? I mean, do I let him be the leader is the question you need to ask.
Mhm.
Matt.
How do you show that? How do you show?
As in you asking
Yeah,
me. You can, I mean, you can physically say to him that you respect that he's the leader of the family. You recognize that he is your husband. He is the father of your children. He is the leader of the family. Or how you protect the kids, how you protect me. I know that you are doing everything again from a financial perspective to support us, or
so I think from a man's perspective, it's the woman's genuinely interested in what we do as well. Do you know what I mean? Like coming to events, for example, supporting in that respect as well.
Mhm,
Do you know what I mean?
mhm,
Because like there was an example in the book where like this woman was kind of like disrespecting her husband, and then she popped into work to see him, and she realized that how much respect he had in the workplace,
mm.
and it made her like really realize that oh shit, like I haven't been treating him as he should be, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah, because he was getting attention from people that worked like for him, but also from his very attractive assistant who wasn't going beyond the line. But obviously, because he was getting attention from her, that made the wife go, okay, I need to buck up a bit. I need to prove to him that actually I find him that attractive. And you may still do, but are you actually showing it? And actually it's just brought up a example that I thought about recently. So I love being the driver of my car. I love it. And I hate when someone else drives my car. But I know from a respect point of view that my husband wants to drive me. and wants to drive me around and drive us and the family. So I've had to really, this isn't
It
like
makes me feel like I don't know about you. I don't know if men can relate to this, but men, if your woman's driving you in the car, you feel like a little beep. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's weird. I'm like, no, no, no. Like, I want to drive, man. Especially if we're gonna pull up and there's gonna be people that see us. I'm like, I'm driving this thing. Do you know what I mean? The only reason I don't drive now is when I've got calls to make and I've got a lot of phone work to do. I'm like, I don't mind Charlie driving because I'm not even paying attention then. But like, yeah, for sure. But that's something which I brought up to you, wasn't it?
hmm I mean, the history of that actually is also that I get really car sick if I'm a passenger. So that's why it started. But then I have to also recognize that as a man, he actually feels a little bit emasculated if I'm the one driving.
Correct.
So is it worse if I swallow that, or is it actually better that I let him drive? Because it makes him feel so much better. And then in turn, then makes me feel so much better because I'm the one that can actually give that to him.
Mm-hmm. And then number three here is understanding. It's what we're saying about am I careful not to try and fix her every time she talks about one of her concerns? Am I remembering that she's an integrated personality and whatever happens affects all of her, especially her emotions? Meaning like men are wired differently. So a man can go through an issue in business and he can compartmentalize it and you'd never know about it. A man could have something over here. We can just put it in a box, shut it away, and you'd never know. Whereas a woman, if something happens, let's say, anything happens, it impacts her emotions across the board.
Mm.
So it's understanding that as well. Like, and sometimes you have to be the cushion. I'll be honest, if you like as a man, this is a statement. You should never argue with your partner. That's it. Full stop. You should never argue. Ever. I will never argue with Charlie. She could shout at me like mental. You know what I'm gonna do? Just stare at her. It's all good, man. Whatever. Never argue with your woman, man. That's just understanding. Because they're actually getting out what they need to get. Your job is as the man is to just take that. Now you can put things correct at a later date, and you can talk about things like a mature adult, but you don't go back and forth. That's not how it works. That's not how it should work. It's not. It's not. And thinking about it, yeah, you definitely want to have a conversation. Oh, we have many debates and conversations, but there's no like reactive
disrespect.
There's no react. There's no disrespect ever, ever. You can disagree with someone without disrespecting them.
Yeah. And also, I know that if I've ever overstepped the line, as in maybe things have got a little bit heated, I will then, for instance, take myself out for a walk. He's not even reacted at all. But within that time, one, I felt better because I've been able to release those kind of feelings and emotions. But also then I will come back and apologize for maybe I've said something that I shouldn't have said or reacted overreacted than I should have. You're really good at that. If I've maybe overreacted and just need to release.
Yeah, like it feels you as a man, you feel disrespected. When your woman like outbursts, right? So you do have to have some like emotional intelligence. And then what Charlie does well is when she does calm down, she recognizes that I don't even have to have the conversation. She knows. I'll just give her a look and she knows that later on she's going to have to come and basically apologize, but not in a weird, disempowering way. She explains why in the heat of the moment, and I've got empathy for that situation because we live a high demanding life. I mean, you give me the kids for 1 hour, I can see why Charlie snaps at me. Do you know what I mean? I'm just being honest, man. I'm like, I'm surprised she doesn't snap more often, to be honest. So again, you do have to see you have to see both sides, but also as well, what do we do normally whenever we're going through problems? We take it on the people closest to us, don't we? So your job is to be that rock for them, and sometimes it can be, yeah, not pretty, but it's all good. Your time.
The next one's insight. Do I trust his ability to analyze things and offer solutions and not just depend on my intuition? So often as women, obviously, we think we do have women's intuition. Of course we do. However, we sometimes also need to ask our husband what their opinions are and involve them in the situation. And also when it comes to it, sometimes our intuition can be off as well. But even the fact that you've asked him his opinion, he will then feel respected that you've even involved him in the situation and what's going on. And it's not, you're always right.
And also the intuition, it's never wrong, but it might be slightly off. Meaning, Charlie had an intuition situation where you're like, oh, why don't I go and like partner with this lady and da 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 da. I said, why? Instead of doing that, progressive move forward. Why don't we channel it here and progressively move forward here if that's what you want to do? So her intuition wasn't necessarily about a particular method. It was actually about a particular outcome. And I'm like, see, I believe we can get to the same destination
or better
and have more fun with it if we do it this way. So it's almost like, do you know what I mean? So it's listening to that. I took on board what you said. I'm like, and I said initially, no, I fully support anything you do. And then we just started to brainstorm it. That's called masterminding. You know, so that's definitely important. Peacemaking. Am I always willing to resolve issues? Am I careful never to say, let's drop this and move on? Because you can never drop it. You know where you're dropping it? Straight in the subconscious mind. It's never under the rug. It's always in the subconscious mind. And after a few drinks, after you start bringing it all up. You got your list, don't you? You're like, hang on a minute. Well, 3 months ago you said this. Did this. No. Like it's like, no, we need to like never go to sleep if you can. Never ever go to sleep without resolving the issue. I think that's good. I think that's good advice personally. I hate going to sleep. I don't think we've ever done that. Where we've gone to sleep with something, we have to talk about it. We have to come to some sort of like, because again, it comes down to what Charlie said about like, we're both actually wanting to live a peaceful, happy, successful life. We're not looking for drama. Do you know what I mean? This is not a reality show. We understand that if we are not happy, it's going to impact the kids. It's going to impact business. It's going to impact everything, health and fitness. You know what it's like. You don't feel motivated to do anything. So like, let's just resolve this right now and move forward.
Yeah, I think saying to a woman, just drop it, or sometimes let's talk about it later, unless you are in a situation where you are back and forth, like verbally abusing each other, then that's not the right time. And also you need to kind of look at, again, going back to the whole love and respect thing, like that's not even in that situation. So you do need to have a pause and take space and then come back to it later in those situations. But saying to a woman, let's drop it, it's always then going to be there. You're literally just brushing something under the carpet, and then it's going to start coming up in different areas that may not even be that same area, but it will start affecting things like Jake was saying about how things affect over time. And that's when eventually one day you might get to the point, do you know what, we're not compatible anymore. Well, no wonder, because you keep brushing things under the carpet.
That little seed has grown into a tree that didn't even need to be there. But we got to move on because we've got some questions to answer as well.
Yep. So relationship, do I spend shoulder to shoulder? Okay, this one was really interesting. Okay. Do I spend shoulder to shoulder time with him whenever I can? Do I let him know that I am his friend as well as his lover? Now, I think a lot of women don't think that men actually need this time. And what I mean shoulder to shoulder is, have you ever been in a situation where maybe like you're doing stuff around the house and he says, babe, can you come watch, what are you doing? Can you come watch this football game with me? Or can you come sit next to me and watch this film? And maybe we come in, sit next to them. They don't even talk to us. And we're like, okay, so why did you actually want me to come and sit next to you? Because they need that time where you're just there, you're next to them. That's their bonding thing. If you think about, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, when like guys are growing up, they love playing football games together, or like computer games together, and they're sat next to each other. That's like their bonding kind of time. Whereas women were a lot more, we sit face to face and we have a conversation. Like I was reading the other day that there was this study of men and women in this cafe, and they were left over a period of time, and all the women were eventually sat face to face with a table in front of them, and they were chatting, eye contact, whereas the men were sat just next to each other and just kind of, going like, yeah, bro, like, look at that. It's because they desire this, I'm sat next to you. That's my kind of, that's what I need.
Interesting. So I don't even know I wanted that.
But you do it.
Do I?
Mhm.
There you go. Loyalty. Do I constantly look for ways to tell her that I'll be loyal to her forever? She's the what? She's the love of my life, the only woman for me. I'm a very affectionate guy, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie doesn't even kiss her mom goodbye.
I do sometimes.
Yeah, you started to a little bit,
Not all the time.
but I'm very affectionate. So like, I've never really struggled with that one, to be honest. I as soon as the vase is empty, flowers. Do you know what I mean? I just because again, it's like it's my decision. It's not circumstantial. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like like we're saying earlier, because one of the questions is what makes you choose each other every day and not just on good days? And I was like, good days. God didn't make good days or bad days. What do you mean? Like it's like you need to make the decision. Am I gonna be the good partner? Am I a good partner? Okay, good partners have standards. What do good partners do? They do this, this, and this. Do you know what I mean? But what we tend to do is we tend to like, well, I'm going to do this when she does this.
Mm.
Well, I'm not going to do that because she hasn't done this for this amount of time. And then it becomes this cycle of just like nothingness. Whereas at some point, someone has to stand up and say, do you know what? I'm going to over deliver because that's who I am. And over time, if the other partner doesn't pick up, then there's a conversation about compatibility,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest.
Yeah.
That's when you actually qualify men to sit your woman down and say, listen, I've been doing X, Y, Z. These are the things that I'm not happy with. I'm not feeling love. I'm not feeling respected. This is not making me happy. Can we have, can we do something about that? How do you feel about that?
Mm-hmm.
And is there anything that I'm doing that you want me to do more of or do less of as well? It's never just a me, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's not that sort of conversation. It's always like but I think that's super important as well.
Yes, it's never going to work from a tit for tat perspective.
No,
It's never going to work. So you
no.
need to if you've ever thought that, you need to get that out of your head. But from an affection standpoint as well, I think the woman just needs to know what that even looks like. Like, is it that you want a cuddle, or maybe it's like a grab of your bum, or maybe it's a kiss, or maybe it's flowers that you want. That's what you also need to figure out, and then just tell your partner what it is.
Yeah, that's a bit like sometimes like without getting too graphic.
Oh gosh.
Like, let's say like I've initiated sex and I think it's always me. It's always me initiating it. I'm gonna back off now. I'm gonna back off. That's it. I'm gonna like da 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 da. And it becomes this like vicious cycle instead of having a conversation and being mature about it and letting them know about the whole. Do you know what I mean? But most people don't. They just brush it under the rug, and it ends up becoming like a bit of resentment as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, we haven't had sex in like 6 months. It's like, bro, like that's your responsibility. What you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That's not hers. It's yours.
Well, okay, so on that point, the last question is actually sexuality. Do I honor his need for sexual release even when I don't feel like it?
Oh,
Now, how many women on this call have gone, okay, I don't feel like it. I'm not going to give him any. I think probably every woman has thought that at some point. However, you need to have an understanding and, okay, have in the forefront of your mind that I'm talking about a good willing man and a good willing woman. Okay.
not no
Not,
weirdo.
there's no, any form of abuse or anything like that is on a totally different radar. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a happy marriage, a good-willed man and a good-willed woman that has good intentions. A man has an innate sexual desire. That's his need. And unless you also have a real conversation with him about what that looks like, you may not realize that actually maybe it's not actual sex. Maybe it's something else. Maybe he has a desire for whatever his needs are. But unless you specifically ask that question, I'm not going to go so graphic on this call, but unless you specifically ask that question, how will you ever know? You may think that you're giving him what he actually really wants, but have you actually really asked him?
I'm excited this podcast is going to end up. Do you know what I mean? This is episode 1. Right, so this is the mic, and what basically, I'm joking.
But as a woman, of course, there are going to be days where we don't feel like it. We go through different times of the month where we really don't want to have anything to do with it, or maybe like after kids or whatever it is. But you do have to have an inner knowing that that is what the man wants. And also, especially if you are married to them, that you have to understand that they have chosen you. You are their wife. They physically cannot go off and have sex and do whatever they want with somebody else because they've married you. So as a wife, you then need to first of all find out what it is that they actually really want, and are you fulfilling that? And you will probably realize, no, you won't probably, you will realize that in giving them what they actually really want, you actually get a lot of pleasure out of it. Because then you know that you are actually the only one that can give them that.
This is so true and deep.
So actually, you end up having the power, even though you thought you were the one that didn't feel like it in the first place.
You thought you were going to be the giver as the woman until you submit, and then you understand that you're actually the receiver, because that's all what a man. That's what a man wants, is the power. The second they've got it, we want to give it. I promise you this right now. That's a big thing. So this is like this, the chapter sexual transmutation on in Think and Grow Rich. Like it's there's that as well. It's understanding that if you're goal driven as a man, you're going to be more aggressive. You're going to be more aggressive. You're going to be more sexually active. Because I said the other day, you go to SeaWorld and you see the killer whales and the fins all flopped over. They've lost their mojo. They've lost there's no goals. There's no sense of life, right? When you've got a man that's like hope, fired up about the future, like you better believe they're going to be excited. They're going to be in a good frequency. They're going to be fired up about life. And if you're a woman in that life, you're a part of it. Do you know what I mean? We want to have great days. So last one is this: esteem. Do I always let her know that I treasure her and put the highest value on her as a person? Do I let her know what she does and thinks is important to me? And does she know I couldn't possibly do it without her? Okay.
Because then men imagine if you did do that. And then the women are thinking, okay, how can I actually almost like reward him and please him and give him what he wants?
So guys, we had a few questions from everyone during the week. We're going to answer 5 of them. Cool, man. Well, look, so you know what, we're thinking about doing an event in November. It's going to be an amazing location, food. I don't know, tickets will be about 100 quid or something like that. I want everyone to DM us if you got any interest in coming to that sort of event. Like, it's gonna be great, man. We'll do loads of stuff. We literally had the idea recently. We thought, you know what, let's do like, I think it's important to have a network of people that actually talk about these things, to be honest.
Mhm.
The role of the role of the man, the role of the women, and it's like a normal situation where like you're not forced. Was talking the other day about, let's say you're with a bunch of girls and there's you're single and it's like, three or four of the girls are like, oh, he's nice. No, you should, he's really nice. And then women actually feel pressured to actually go and do X, Y, Z because of their environment. So like, so it works in the negative. So we want to do it in the positive.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? And again, we're not claiming to be expert. And we have to do it. We're doing a lot of this to actually attract more and more high value couples so we can actually spend time together and do some cool things. All right. So, guys, want to love you. Appreciate you all. Thank you for coming up. Thank you for showing up for yourselves and for us, obviously supporting the journey. If you haven't already, go over to the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, share it, comment, and yeah. Anything you
Thanks
want
for
to say?
being here.
Cool.